Hello! Today in this video I will be going through 10 very confusing phrases that are commonly used in business meetings. So this is a business English video and it is meant for all of you who currently work. Maybe you work at a big company where they speak using English. So many workers have a very hard time maybe understanding some of the slang terms and the language that is being used in these meetings. The main reason why these business expressions used in meetings are so difficult for ESL learners to understand and really grasp is because they don't follow the literal meaning, right? They all follow the metaphorical meanings instead. So, therefore, even if you have a good knowledge of English language, you have maybe learned the literal meanings of these words before. However, we cannot take that knowledge and use it in these expressions because they do not follow their literal meanings. So, please remember that these are tricky to use and know about. It is okay if you don't know how to use them or maybe you've never heard about them before because when we are first learning English, we always learn the literal meanings first. 1. Let's circle back. So this one is a bit confusing because it doesn't use the literal meaning, right? We're not going to actually circle anything. Circle back just means that we will get to your question later on at another time. So this is used in meetings when somebody has a question or they have some kind of input that they want to say. Then maybe the boss or whoever is running the meeting thinks that right now is not the best time for this topic of discussion. So if they don't want to talk about it right now, then they will say, oh, that's a good point, but let's circle back to that later on. Just means that we will talk about it at a later time, not right now. Let's use this as leverage. Now, using something as leverage means that we use something or someone that will actually help us. It will help us get better or grow. It is an advantage for us, not for them, but we use them to help us. So for example, let's take journalism, right? If you are working at a company and you are writing articles in newspapers or magazines, then maybe you heard a tip from somebody in the public that has a new story. So you can say, oh, I can use that news story as leverage. So if you get this story before anyone else does, it will make you look better than everyone else. Let's take this offline. Now, this one is very confusing because we are not actually referring to an online meeting when we say take it offline. So take it offline is just another way to say we will talk about this after the meeting is finished. So again, if you have some kind of personal comment maybe or an opinion about something, maybe the boss or manager prefers to speak to you one-on-one in a private setting rather than saying this in front of everybody who is currently at this meeting. 4. Run it up the flagpole. So again, if you look at this in the literal sense, it makes no sense at all. This is all metaphorical. Run it up the flagpole just means that we need to talk to the people who are in the higher positions in that company first. Maybe get their approval for something before you are allowed to actually do it or get started on a new project. So people that are up top, you know, the CEO, the boss, owner, managers, all of those people, maybe we need to ask their approval or permission before we are allowed to do something at our job. To touch base. So again, we are not physically actually touching anything. This simply means that somebody, usually your boss, will come by and just have a quick little chat with you, asking how things are going, and just making sure if you have any questions, then you can ask them at this time too. So if the manager says, oh, I just want to touch base with you, it just means they want to get a little bit of an update about what you are working on, what you're doing, and if everything is okay. 6. It is what it is. So again, this makes no literal sense. If an ESL learner looks at this statement, it is what it is, they will probably be very, very confused. They'll be, what? What is what? It is what it is what? What are we talking about? So this expression is very confusing for basically anyone learning English. It just means there's nothing we can do to change the outcome or result. So let's say you try to get a new client to do business with you, or maybe make a partnership with another company. But for whatever reason, it is not possible. We cannot do what we want to do. So if there is no possible way to get what we want to do done, then this is basically admitting defeat. It is what it is. I cannot do anything to change this result. 7. On the same page. So this one, we are not talking about paper. On the same page just means that everybody who is involved in whatever project or task that they are doing has agreed that this is the right way to do it. Everybody knows what they are responsible for in that project or task. So nobody's confused, nobody disagrees with what's happening. 8. To drill down. So this expression just means that we need to look at the data or the numbers in more detail. So if you have some kind of information that is presented to you at your company, maybe you need to look at everything in very specific detail. That means we need to drill down on these numbers and find out the information that we need. 9. Move the needle. So to move the needle just means that we do something that has a big measurable impact on our job, on our company. So for example, if we are in a meeting and maybe the owner is not happy with the results that we have gotten. So maybe they will tell us, okay, look everyone, now we need to move the needle and do this instead to make a bigger impact or to get more results that we need, depending on where you are. Number 10, let's put a pin in it. So put a pin in it, again, metaphorical meaning. We are not literally sticking a pin in anything. This just means to postpone the conversation for a later date. So if you are having a conversation with your colleague and maybe they have to go and do something else, they are very busy, maybe they will say, oh, okay, let's just put a pin in that. That means we will talk about it later on. There you have it. Those are my top 10 business phrases used in meetings that are often confusing for ESL learners. They are very confusing in general because of these metaphorical meanings. So even if you're someone who thinks you have a lot of English knowledge, maybe you know all of the literal meanings for things, but you cannot transfer that knowledge into these metaphorical meanings when we use expressions or idioms. So it's really, really difficult to learn all the metaphorical meanings and the literal meanings of all of these words and phrases. So I hope this video helps you understand a little bit better, and hopefully you'll be less confused in your next business meeting. Thank you so much for watching. As always, goodbye. Have a great day.